Welcome to the VO Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Ann Ganguzza. And I'm here today with my co-host, Lau Lapides. Lau, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Annie. I like it. Could you sound a little less trailery, but keep the trailer feeling to it?
Okay. Welcome to the VO Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Ann Ganguzza.
And less AI, but keep the AI quality.
Okay. Welcome to the VO... Well,
I don't even know what I just asked.
well, I know. It's like, make it AI, but don't make it AI. And I'm like,
Oh,
what?
my gosh.
Anyways.
I'm trying to find perfection here.
Hey guys, welcome to the VO Boss Podcast. And yeah, I am trying to create the perfect take for you. And it is just failing miserably. So let's talk about, because I am one for perfectionism. If anybody knows me, I am a perfectionist. And a lot of times it does more harm to me than good. And I think for voice actors, it can absolutely restrain you from moving forward and improving your reads because for a lot of reasons, right? Let's talk about that, Lau. And it's hard not to be a perfectionist because all my life I've been a perfectionist. And so when I take on any skill, Lau, I have to be the best at it.
Oh, me too.
And if I'm not the best
way.
at it, well, I have to do the best that I absolutely can. So I try really hard.
But I mean, to be fair, we get a lot of mixed messages in our industry. You know, we get a lot of this like, don't be perfectionistic. It's really not about perfection. It's about, progress. But yet strive to be excellent. Be the get outside the box and push your boundaries. But don't overdo it. Don't.
But stay within the casting specs. But yet.
But stretch it. Like try something
new. No announcery. But yet, when we hear the actual spot.
Yeah, be clear though. Make sure we can understand you. So we get confused and we just keep trying to reach this peak that we can never really reach.
Well, we can please
need.
Yeah, we can please every aspect of what they are looking for from us. And I think it's partially us trying to give the perfect read and, sound exactly the way they want us to so we can get the job. And it's partially them as well, like not necessarily knowing the direction that they really want to go. So then they provide all sorts of direction. And so this is not going to be an episode about confusing direction, although it definitely lands itself in this realm of perfectionism. It's going to really be about perfectionism bosses, and I know I'm not the only one that is a perfectionist, and I know that if I follow that too much, it really hurts my performance in many different ways.
It's painful too because for those of us who have psychological OCD addictions, that kind of falls under that, right? It's like it's never good enough. It's never right. It's never whatever. It's never whatever. I like that, right? But yet, I don't want to be complacent. I don't want to be lax. I don't want to just say that's good enough. I'll just go with that because I always feel like I can do more. I can give more. I can rehearse more.
Absolutely.
So finding that middle ground of not driving yourself crazy, but also not getting lazy.
And trying to please everything. Everything. That's my, even still at this age, Lau, I still want to make my parents proud of me.
Of course.
So what do I do? I try. I think that's a wonderful thing. But still, if you think about it, I spend my life trying to achieve, something
the impossible.
Something that may not be possible. So,
but it makes me wonder too. It's like when we think about how much we push ourselves. That's the overachiever, the workaholic, the person who's striving for perfection. It's like when you think about what comes out of you. Would that have come out of you if you weren't doing that? And you discover greatness at times. You just can't deny that. You discover abilities and skills and greatness in you when you're pushing yourself that hard to reach something. It reminds me of like the Winter Olympics that are coming up, right? Obviously, they have to strive for excellence, the greatest excellence in the athletic world globally. But they're still human beings. There's only so much they're going to achieve and so much they're going to do. So do they ever stop striving for the excellence? No. They never do.
No. Am I ever at the top of my game? No. I would
Not
say,
really.
Well, you can always keep learning. You're like a lifelong learner. So part of that feeds into that perfectionism, right? We should always be learning. We should always be striving to be better. But sometimes that's, I think, and I believe in that. I totally believe in that. We should always be trying to be better. That's just, I don't know, maybe that's just my personality, right?
But where does perfectionism come out of?
I want to be a better person. I want to be a better voice artist. I want to be better at, everything, right? And so certain times it's good, right? Because it motivates you, right?
Well, that's how I feel. Yeah,
but
I do.
When we're talking about something as sensitive as your product, right? Your product is your voice. And guess what shows up in that product when you try?
Yes.
Trying. And that's you're striving for that perfection. And usually it's the perfection in the sound that you're striving for. And that's where I think the big misunderstanding comes, because you're trying to make it sound perfectly. And they're calling for, non-announcery, not perfect. And in reality, if we don't strive for those qualities of perfectionism and we just are in the moment, right? We're ourselves. That's really how we connect. And that is, I think it's the purpose or what we strive for as voice actors, to be that authentic self that is the actor that is, embedded into the scene and believable, authentic. And striving to get there and trying to be perfect usually ends up in sounding like you're trying. And as a matter of fact, I just had an episode with Paul Cartwright, who said he wasn't booking commercials, but yet he had a great agent and everything, and he'd done really well in his career, but he wasn't booking commercials. Mm-hmm. And he went to another coach, and they just said, "Oh, okay, listen here. I want you to audition here, and I'm going to play it back for you." And then he listened to it, and she said, "I can hear you trying." And that was like the light bulb that just went off, that he said, "Oh, okay." And when he wasn't trying so hard, guess what? He started booking.
Which leads us to ask the question is, does perfection live within you without too much will, without too much of that trying, that pushing, that making things go in a direction? There is the magic. Whether you call it fate or spirituality, there is the magic of stars aligning and things moving in a direction that pulls greatness out of you without you making it happen. That I'd like to think that's the it factor in a lot of what we do. But it's still, I still question, though. Yes, I'm the cut from the same cloth as you in terms of striving for excellence and never giving up and laying back. But at the same token, I feel it can be counterproductive, because perfectionism oftentimes comes out of a critical nature, a criticism.
Sure.
That, yes, I see this, but there's so much that it is not. So let's make that happen. So I see what it is, but I see also what it's not. It's also directors in us, too.
Yeah, absolutely. It is not perfect. So therefore, I must strive to make it perfect.
Yes.
Yes. And again, that is so evident, especially because this is what we do for a living.
But if someone asked us, I was just going to say, if someone asked us what is perfection, I don't think we'd be able to answer it.
Right. But think about trying for perfect. Like, right, okay, I'm a weightlifter, and I'm striving for the next set of weights, right? Guess what? I'm going to go, and of course that effort, you hear it. That's a direct correlation of okay, I need to be perfect, and for some reason I am not right now, so therefore I'm going to create a perfect read. And when you do that, you hear that, maybe not the grunt, but it's an analogy.
I like the grunt.
It's an analogy. So you hear the effort, and honestly, truth and being in it, right, in the moment, which is we all say that, right? Be in the moment. And a lot of times when you're first starting, it's so difficult. What do you mean, be in the moment? How can I get in the moment? I'm not really there, right? You're telling me to get into a scene where I'm in the moment, but I'm not anywhere near it. I'm sitting behind a mic here in my house, and I'm not in it. So how do I get in it, right? That's what most people are like. How do I get in it? What's your answer to that, Law?
Yeah, I mean, there's many ways to get in it, but many call it the zone of genius. Like, what is my zone of genius? And sometimes it is that critical zone or that critical factor. I mean, some of the greatest thinkers and doers are analytical by nature, right? But also they're miserable, many of them as well.
Right.
They're not
So
happy,
true.
joyful people. These are people that oftentimes end up, ending their lives or making other lives miserable or hurting people because they're missing that element of perfection that they think should be in order. There's an order in the world that they see that is not happening.
And they're tormented.
And they're tormented.
Tormented artists that
yes,
cannot
and if you can
achieve.
accept the fact that there is no world order, really. I mean, there is no right way to order things. There's a million different combinations. And if you find a combination that works, then that could be considered perfectionism.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's the only thing or the only answer. And that's bothersome to a lot of analytical thinkers that want the answer. What is the right way?
Yeah, there's no one way.
There's no one way. There's no one way.
Is it like, if you think about it, is it teachable? Do you know what I mean? To not be a perfectionist, to just forget, turn that emotion off and just either be in the moment or just be not perfect, not an answer, not, all the things. Just be yourself, be raw. Don't sound like a voice actor.
Yeah, I think it's hard. I think you can't. Okay. I'll say as a director, I can't teach a negative. I can't teach someone not to do something. Because that's the first thing they'll do, and they'll lean into that. But if you teach them and redirect them with a new mentality about it, then they will be striving for that and leave that other thing behind. Yeah,
that's
so it's
an excellent point, Lau.
It's directing in a positive. Like your brain does not know how to take a negative direction.
Oh my
right?
God, yes. Absolutely.
We know the output of that. Like we know what you're saying to yourself or why that's happening, but we don't know exactly what happens when we say, don't do that. You shouldn't do that. I don't want you to do that.
The first thing you do, especially with your kids, you're like, no, don't touch that. The first thing they want to do is touch it, right? And it's like,
that goes into the question, is punishment. Yeah. Does punishment work? Yeah, because that is kind of considered punishment because it's painful. It's uncomfortable.
Or it's memorable, right? Yeah,
it's memorable,
right?
Whatever. Whereas if you redirect, your brain hangs on to it as something positive or something interesting or something provoking.
I like the redirection, especially when you're talking about voice acting, because, again, your thought process affects your voice. It affects everything about you, right? Your emotional being affects everything. And it brings me back to when I was young and I was riding horses. I had an instructor who was very negative. She pretty much was like, no, don't do that, or no, that's wrong, or no, that looks bad. And everything was, and I did not flourish under that instructor. I mean, I progressed, but I did not flourish. And I remember when I ultimately left that stable, because I owned a horse, and went to another stable, I had a completely different form of instruction, which was nurturing, and it wasn't catering, but it was nurturing, and it was based out of care and not negativity. And I flourished with that. And so I made a resolution back then that I would teach that way, because I had such a negative experience. And so I always try to, I don't coddle you, but I certainly, people would say that I don't coddle you, but I don't. But whatever I do, it's with love, and it's not with negativity. Mm-hmm. So
I agree. I totally agree. I do think that part of perfectionism is insecurity, fear, of retribution, of punishment, of whatever, and it's also bending to my will. So I want you to see it that way because that's the right way, and I want you to bend to my will, which is in my mind potentially perfect. It's perfect to see it that way, and that makes you wonder: is it just about the agreement, the validation, the power play of me being over you, so that you would agree, you would satisfy, you would validate my perfect thing, which elevates me to a higher status. So in essence, there's kind of a caste system in perfection.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Right. You're always striving for that next level.
You're always striving for that next level, and you want to be above someone else.
And that next level, can be your casting director. But
that's competition.
Right. Exactly.
That's kind of competitive by nature.
Yeah.
Right?
So interesting.
And on top of that, we're taught as young kids that that's a good thing because, our society wants kids to be competitive. They want them to be in sports and win. They want them to be in, academics and win.
I think that it's motivating. I'm super competitive. You know that, right?
Yeah, I do too. I do too. But does it set them up for psychological harm? And certainly we see it on social media all the time. It's I'm not that thin. I'm not that pretty. I'm not that young. I don't, all that stuff. I'm not perfect.
I didn't book that job. Every other voice actor that's posting on social media is perfect, and I am not.
Yes.
That is really the way it is. And that, again, it becomes fear, insecurity, and that's where it stems from. And that can absolutely influence your performance, which, of course, is going to influence everything if you want to be a successful voice actor business.
It's a slippery slope. I think one of the red flags you have to watch out for. And if you're a perfectionist, you're not a bad person. You're probably achieving a lot. You're probably doing a lot in your life. That's okay. That's good.
This
is
true.
Watch out for the red flags. If you're living comparatively, if you're comparing yourself to external stimuli,
self-sabotage,
be careful because you're never going to live up to your analyzation of what surrounds you.
Yeah, I get that. That maybe strive not for perfectionism, but strive to be passionate and successful like another voice actor, right? But don't try to imitate them or try to sound like them or try to, do anything like them, except maybe seek the motivation and the inspiration from their career path or how they are doing. Because, and I'll tell you, more often than not, if you were to talk to them and ask them, did you ever have any insecurities or fears? Every one of them is going to say yes. And so know that you're not alone in that, but just you have to learn to work so that it's not affecting your performance. Yeah. And that's a tough thing to do. And it can take years. I mean, I'll tell you, and I remember when I would show, be in the horse show, I'd be nervous before the class. And guess who picked up on that? My horse. And my horse picked up on it. Then he did not perform because I was nervous and tight. And he was like, okay, he was all, what's going to happen? What's happening? She's nervous. Right? Yeah. And again, they feel every emotion that you feel. So think about it. Your mic feels everything you feel. And, it comes through in the mic. So
and when we catch ourselves, we'll think of what you just said, Annie, and say, don't hurt my horse. Don't hurt my horse. That's really what it is. And we oftentimes talk about, too, being directors, like, when we make mistakes, there's a lot of power in imperfection. There's a lot of beauty. There's a lot of art. There's a lot of things that go right when you're imperfect. And we always say...
Makes you relatable.
If you're on camera, don't fall out. Don't fall out of the take. Don't fall out of your takes, because those are the moments that people love the most. Now we call them bloopers, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But people love that reality check of who you really are.
And that whole thing with the filters, right? In social media, we don't look perfect. We don't look like that. And it really has a negative connotation now, which I think is great, right? Because I don't think you should try to strive to achieve, and especially, with social media, with women and girls, I don't think girls should strive to be that thin or that beautiful or think that they're less than. And so I'm glad that the whole filter thing really kind of took a turn to like, hey, we're not perfect. Show me your imperfection. And it kind of like now it's a thing where, women are showing their wrinkles. They're showing with no makeup, right? And even celebrities like Pamela Anderson, my gosh, right? So she's making a statement about it. And so that, it makes her interesting. It makes her memorable. And if you're looking for that for your voice actor business, you want to be memorable in a good way, right? Memorable, then you need to really do something that is not striving to be like anything else or be perfect or show perfectionism.
Yeah, perfect. When you think of perfectionism, it's kind of boring too.
Yeah,
because it's
expected.
Yeah, you're trying to be a little bit more cookie cutter at times versus uniquely you. Like, make that mistake. Like, allow something that is unexpected to happen. The unexpected is really where the brilliance lies.
And it's the basis of storytelling, if you think about it.
It is.
And I always encounter it in long format narration, because if you are like articulate and perfect while you're teaching, e-learning, or anything, right, reading a 4-minute narration about a company's HR policies, whatever that is, the more perfect you are for the longer period of time, see how consistent it sounds? Then you lose people, right? It's not giving you the hills and valleys of a story, right? There's a story in everything, even teaching. There's a story for a lesson. There's an introduction. There's a path to the learning moments. And then there is, wrapping it all up and, reinforcing the teaching moment. And so
your audience can't connect with you. After a while, they can't
they just don't know.
Empathize. They can't see you as a real person or as a real entity if you're too perfect. It's like being over-edited. If we get an audition that is edited too much,
absolutely.
we can't use it because we know it has nothing to do with any kind of natural delivery. So we want to have a little bit of naturalism in there in terms of like your quality of the audio. It's okay.
Sure.
You don't have to over edit. You don't have to over same with demos, over process. You don't have to do any of that.
But I would say you do have to have clear and good audio. And I don't think you can be too,
of course you do.
I don't think you can be too, I would say don't obsess about it so it inhibits the process of, starting your business. But, cleaner audio and pristine audio really shows your product better. And so you can be a little perfected, a little bit more perfect in that. But again, then your performance has to really shine. And that, if you're trying to be perfect, we're going to hear that.
Yeah, that can be annoying. Yeah, because we know it's not real. It's very unreal.
And we can tell that from the get-go, right?
We can tell it right away.
From note one, from the first word, I can tell if somebody is performing, they're striving to be that voice. And it's interesting, like it happens so quickly. And that's how casting directors are able to make their decisions like in the first 5 seconds. Everyone I know that I've talked to that, cast for large projects, they only listen to the first 5 to 8 to 10 seconds because they know right away if that read is going to be perfect in every way for the rest of the read. So,
and they don't have time. They don't have time to listen to the whole thing.
They just don't.
They're going to assume all your best stuff is up front, and you're going to give them what they're in need of and looking for, and it's right there for them. So, don't be too predictable. Perfection is predictable oftentimes. Don't be so predictable.
I always tell people don't be consistent in anything you do in voiceover because it takes the listener on a journey.
The best actors are ones that have surprises. They're people that shock you a little bit at times.
Yeah, absolutely.
They take chances. They take
risks. In a good way. That's what they say. No, what is it? All PR is good PR? Not all the time, but...
Well, not all the time. But you know what I mean? It's like, do you think our need for safety and security in wanting perfection, like we want to be out of fear. We want to be safe. So we're striving for perfection, thinking that's safe.
It's the safe take.
It's a safe take.
It's not
safety take.
Yeah, it's a safety take.
Yeah.
And so, guys, bosses out there, when we say to you, what is our advice to not trying to achieve perfectionism or, in your reads or in your career or anything like that. The first thing to note is just realize that it is not something that we are looking for. That is something that is hireable or marketable or is going to make your business move forward if you're striving for perfection. Because number one, we can hear it. It's too consistent. We get bored easily, and it doesn't achieve the effect that we need it to. Because remember, we're either delivering information that's educating people or we're entertaining people, and people don't want that to be a predictable thing because then it won't capture them enough and it won't hold their attention. It'll just become boring. And you don't want to be a boring VO artist. You just don't.
No. So remember, it's not about perfection. It's about progress, and done is always better than perfect. I always say that, especially under tight timelines. I know I can redo it, but just get it done.
And the people that all the time, it happens all the time. You'll redo an audition 5,000 times, right? Because you listen back and you say, oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. So many people that just start off do that, right? Because they're like, oh,
and they miss the deadline.
Yeah. Well, and even people that I'm coaching, right? They want it to sound, they record it and then they listen back. They're like, ew, no, I don't like that. Yeah. And then record it again. And then record it so many times that, after the 15th take, they don't know what they're listening to. And so ultimately, one of the reasons why your first or second or third take is your best is because you're not in the habit and you're not striving for that perfectionism. It just is you at the start. And so those are why we typically take those reads. But again, perfect is not desirable. So know that is number one. That's your number one tip in how not to be perfect. Is know that we don't want you to be perfect.
No.
And then what's your number two tip? Like, okay, so we know now that they don't want us to be perfect. So how do I get there?
Well, I think you need to have, I feel like I said this already, but triggers. Like have a trigger for yourself that lets yourself off the hook. Like talk to yourself. Have self-talk. Talk to yourself. Say, listen, it's fine. It's good enough. Let me move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have those triggers, whatever it is. Or like if you look in the mirror, like for those of us, we look in the mirror as we age, we go, oh my God, where did I get that? Well, how did I? And then I'll find myself going, it's okay. It's my life.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Exactly.
It's okay.
Tell
so
yourself
it's not
it's
life
okay.
or death. It's not life or death. The stakes are not that high typically.
Yeah. Tell yourself that it's okay. You don't need 5,000 takes. Go with the first 3. I'm always telling people, I don't want you to record the homework 15 times.
No.
I want you to give me the first couple of takes or pick one of them and then be done with it and move on, because that will start to teach you to learn to not be, because the more intent you get on trying to make it sound a particular way, the more perfect you're trying to make it.
Yeah.
And so if you take one of the first takes, it's not as perfect, right? And so that's going to be more captivating than something that's perfect. So let yourself go, let it go. Don't try for the perfectionism. And then what else can we say about that is I think believe in yourself, right? If it doesn't happen the first time, right, you're going to just only learn from that, right? So if you're delivering an audition that you thought sucked, well, guess what? Your next one may not suck as much.
Exactly.
And so
exactly.
you've learned to really accept, right? You've learned to accept that you don't need to be perfect. And that's the beginning stepping stone of progressing and really, getting out of that mindset that you need to be perfect.
Yeah, I'm a real fan, too, of getting a sounding board. So when you need to call that friend, I call you, I email someone, I get them on Zoom, get them on the phone. I say, listen, I'm having a nervous breakdown right now, and I'm just reaching perfection. Can you just tell me what you hear? Yeah. Tell me what you see. And they bring you down. They recalibrate you. There's a recalibration that you need to do for yourself to get yourself back in your right mind.
Oh, yeah,
because
absolutely.
when you're going down that slippery slope, you're hysterical.
Mind.
You're not you're in a panic. You're in like a
true.
fight or flight, Yeah. So get that person, maybe you have many people that will say, that's great. I love that.
Awesome.
Or I like what you do there, or whatever. That we need that. I think we need the outside population to help put us back in our place.
I like that. So, number one, know that you don't need to be perfect. Number two, we don't want you to be perfect because you'll be boring. And we can hear it.
Yes.
So, to turn that around, you've got to have that talk. You've got to have that talk with yourself to get yourself out of the perfect. Let it go and move on, because if it doesn't work out this time, it will progress you towards the next time or the next time after that. And then, have an outside external source that can help you bring you off the cliff, or to keep you from jumping off the cliff there, and bring you down so you can get a dose of reality. Where maybe you're over analyzing. You're like, no, it's fine.
Annie, I have a dear friend of mine, and she gave me as a gift for a holiday one time a little sign for my desk, and it says progress, not perfection, because she knows me well. And I just keep it there. And having that visual marker, I look at it and I go,
good idea.
She knows me. Yeah. She knows me, right?
Absolutely.
It just makes me feel good. That moment of recalibration, you need that.
Yeah.
You need it. Awesome.
So now I can just say, hey, welcome to the VO Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Ann Ganguzza, and I am here with my amazingly lovely co-host, Lau Lapides. And that came from my heart. That came from my heart, and hopefully that casting loves that. So,
and when you get it wrong in your mind, and when it's not where you want it to be in your mind, force yourself at times to say, perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect, and move on.
Yeah, exactly. You're creating it. Just understand that you have a benchmark and believe in it, right? Even if you don't hear it at the time, believe in that benchmark and say, okay, I've done it before this way and people hired me, so I guess, it must be okay. Even though you might be saying to yourself, oh my God, that sucked.
Chances are great that you're much more critical about your work than the outside world is going to be.
Yeah.
They're going to be much more accepting oftentimes than you are.
Yeah. Good stuff, Law. Good stuff. Bosses, don't try to be perfect. We love you just as you are.
We do.
So, yeah. As always, a wonderful conversation. Bosses, I'm going to give a great big shout out to IPDTL. You too can network and be a boss and be an imperfect boss, which is okay with us. We love you anyways. Find out more at ipdtl.com. Bosses, have an amazing week, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.